So yeah, start 2 games. Play with a friend.
Where are we starting chess?
Interlink, message.
Oh, my arms are in pain. I just got a whole bunch of shots. So,
There you go. I sent you a DM with the link to play chess.
let's play chess. Okay. I haven't played chess in a while, but let's play chess.
All right.
Alright. Okay, I'm back. Okay.
Can somebody let speakers up? Because I am too lazy to do that.
I can. Giz, do you want to? I don't know what Giz is even doing. I got 2 of them up here. Or I invited some peoples. Okay. I'm kind
That's
of
you moderating this?
Don't judge me.
Or is Tom running it?
I don't run any of them ever under any circumstances. I'm just here, so I let other people run them.
Okay.
I should probably put up the chess game so people can see them. Check on Don. Check on... No, I don't want to do that. Do I want to do that? Yeah, I do want to do that. Check on Dex. Check on Dex. Check on Don. Another check on Don. Another check on Don. Ooh, Giz moved out of the way. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right.
I don't even know what's going on.
Check on Dex. Check on Don.
I'm just moving. I'm just like trying to get my my queen. She's a runner. She's a trick star.
I think that's your king. Your king is the one that can't move very many pieces. Your queen is the...
Yeah. Yeah. This. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Let's add another window so people can see the chess being played. Add image capture, browser source, video capture, window capture, add source. Window cap 2. Nope. Add new source. Chess. Call it chess capture. Add source. Done.
You're adding a lot of sources and capturing a lot of things.
Yes.
Wait, was that Forrest talking? Your voice is very fast.
I want to go to
View,
filters, edit filters.
Fancy.
Crop. No, crop isn't a filter.
Crop isn't a filter.
I don't think so.
Crop isn't a filter.
Transform. Nope.
Why can't crop be?
I'm just looking for where it is located in Streamlabs.
Yeah. Okay.
Here it is. Crop. Done.
I love how this is a debate TJump / AMA, and now it's just TJump playing chess with people.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Forrest, would you like to join the Sparkle cult? It's a very humble cult. Not really though, but
humble cult. What's the point of a cult if it's going to be humble?
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, it's not really a humble cult, but we say that so we can get people to join our
Is
cult.
there justified bloodshed? That's what I'm interested in.
Yes, we kill the people who betrayed the Sparkle cult.
1380.
Maybe
that sounds good.
Live
this
thing,
guy, 20,
but we will discuss it privately. Yes.
That's close enough.
But
Save.
for further notion, yes, I would like to join.
That there.
TJump, did you move from me?
I did not. I'm playing with other pieces. So I just took Don's queen and I took your knight. All right, now I moved.
Okay. Let's just
Put that there.
figure this out.
All right. So everybody got any questions or anything? Raise your hand, people, and you can join the Discord. I don't have a Discord link posted, do I? Call-in number. Show the call-in number. All right. There's the call-in number for anybody who wants to join and debate TJump on stuff. Add my TJump banner too.
Oh, Apologetic wants to say something, I guess.
And then let him up.
Oh, apologetic. Oh,
Check.
I've apologetic once. Oh, shooby dooby. Oh my gosh. No.
Hello?
Hello?
How's everyone doing?
I'm good.
That's good.
Decent. Indeed.
TJump, are you an
Who's moving?
atheist?
No!
Yes. Yes, I'm an atheist.
It's interesting.
Super.
Well, I was just wondering,
Wow.
in your worldview, how are you able to justify the precondition for intelligibility?
Because
Magic.
reality is a thing. Reality grounds all of the preconditions for intelligibility.
It's magic.
Good
Obviously.
game.
No, no, no.
Checkmate.
Ah.
I'm sorry, you said what?
Reality grounds all of the preconditions for intelligibility.
Right, but so you're starting with a presupposition of reality, but it can't be your ultimate presupposition.
What do you mean? There's no presupposition of reality there. What do you mean?
Well, in your worldview, that would be your presupposition.
There's no presupposition there. How is that a presupposition?
Well, no, your presupposition that reality is the precondition for human intelligibility.
How is that a presupposition?
I'm sorry, I don't know how it's not.
Yeah, how is it? You're saying it's a presupposition, so you need to show how it's a presupposition.
Well, maybe I just don't understand what a presupposition is, but I would definitely say that's a presupposition.
Well, if you don't understand what it is, maybe you shouldn't call it a presupposition.
No, I think you don't understand.
Well, okay, but you're making the claim. You're claiming it's not a presupposition, which means you would need
No,
to...
you're questioning what a presupposition is.
No, I'm saying you said it's a presupposition, and I asked, okay, how? How is it a presupposition? So I didn't actually make a claim. I asked a question.
Right, but you assume, like, you came to a conclusion.
No,
You
I
just
asked. There was no conclusion. That's a question. You said...
No, you came to...
No. You said, I have a presupposition. And I asked, okay, how? And then you're going off on a tangent, not answering the question.
No, because you just made a claim and assumed it to be the case.
No, I asked a question.
That's what you did.
You need to answer the question.
No, you made a claim.
No, you did.
That's a presupposition.
You made a claim.
Downward spiral here.
You said that reality...
He's a troll. He's not even a presup. He's just pretending to be a presup.
You can't justify your claim. You can't justify that
I
reality.
had a question. So I said a question. How is that a
wasn't
precept?
A question. That was a claim. That was a statement you made.
That was a... So I'm going to move you to the audience now because I'm bored.
Yeah, you said that
I moved the wrong guy to
reality...
the audience. There you go. So until you can justify your claim that I made a presupposition and explain it, then you lose the argument. I've won. Argument over.
Magic.
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 Anybody else got any
Bada bing, bada boom.
questions, debate stuff? Anybody on YouTube want to join Discord and debate or conversation stuff, chat about anything?
I have a question. It's not really a debate, but I have just a question.
Okay.
What was your reasoning or conclusion for saying that you are an atheist? Like, how did you come to that conclusion?
Well, I believe there is no God. Therefore, by definition, I'm an atheist.
I'm saying like when exactly? Like did you find a piece of information that was like, oh, God doesn't exist, lol, or like...
Omni, what is your argument that you want an answer to? The reason I'm an atheist is because there's no evidence for the existence of God, and therefore it's unreasonable to believe in such a thing. It's unreasonable to believe any such thing is anything but imaginary.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
Oops, I just gave him my queen. queen sacrifice. That's not good. Oh well. Still up by 10, so it's fine. Quick question. Quick quest. When you are going to stop using authority argument and reverse engineer the opposite arguments to it's too boring. Well, I don't use the authority argument. Use actual authorities. And explain why there's the
Apologetic.
authority.
Apologetic. Do not DM mods to come back up on stage.
Can God make a stone so heavy that he cannot lift it? Answer, no, because this ability to
Absolutely
lift
not.
it is not limited by its weight. I don't understand Omni. So the reason God is logically able to limit his own power. Like there's no reason why God wouldn't logically be able to do something that could overcome his own power. So there's no logical contradiction there. God should be able to do it. Anyone else want to play chess or anything? I'll give you a link.
I sent you an invite.
What? You sent me an invite?
I sent you a link. Yeah, I sent you a link.
Oh, I want to play chess.
Your game. Okay, who said that?
Force.
Forest. Message. Open Lee chess. Play with friend. White. Copy. Paste. There you go. There. Yeah, I saw that coming.
And the silence is real.
Anybody got any
Oh,
questions or
I
anything?
could
Go
still
ahead.
talk.
Hmm. Oh, that pawn's a butt cheek on a stick. Oh my god. Oh my non-existent god.
Oops, did not mean to do that.
Oopsie doopsie.
Oh, fuck. Whatever.
Carlos. I can't. What? There you go. Invite to speak. Invite to speak. Damn it. Invite to speak. Where is Scotty and Frank when you need them?
Oh, fucking no. Giz and Canadian or not Susu. Giz, Pfeffery, and Canadian Interlocutor are down there.
Cancel.
I think Scotty and Frank might be in Narnia.
Narnia? Did you say Narnia?
Testing,
Yes, I
testing.
said Narnia.
So, who do we want to bring up?
Pretty much just whoever raises their hand.
Spicy. Spicy.
Shu V? I don't know how to pronounce your name. You should get the thing to come up.
Okay, my turn.
What sort of things are we allowed to debate about?
Anything. You're very low, though. I would suggest turning up your volume.
Hello. I'm using my phone.
Very quiet.
Spicy. Spicy.
I'm waiting on the other guy if he wants to talk.
Spice rice.
Go.
That's so spicy.
No, you can go ahead because I will think of a good argument.
Okay. So what's your opinion on? So I'm having trouble kind of understanding why people say compatibilism instead of just determinism.
Because they like to think of themselves as smart.
Okay, so I never really I couldn't wrap my head around the difference between the two. But
Yeah,
okay.
there isn't. It's just determinism with a different name. They're the same thing.
Okay. Well, I've been watching your channel for a long time, and that's pretty much the only question I ever had. All right. Okay. I'll leave. Y'all have fun.
Yep. Talk to you later. Good game. GG Don.
Jojo Freelancer Cup. What's up?
All right. Okay, found some.
What's my ELO? I am rated 2000 on online. I don't have one of non-online. Online.
Online.
So what's up? What's your question?
Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, you got that one ready. That's.
Is there a debate going on right now?
Yeah, it's just a
No,
public
your lane.
Discord AMA. You can ask whatever you want.
Oh, hold up. My chicken nuggets are beeping.
That's amazing. That's the first time somebody really said, "Oh, hold up, my chicken nuggets are beeping."
What time is the Matt Slick thing with Illmatic?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm about to get destroyed. Destroyed. Yep, knew it.
Matt Slick is the 15th at 8 EST.
Bloody hell.
Okay, TJump, I have a question then, an argument.
Go for it.
No, I
It
did
is.
not mean to move that there.
Should we teach moral instruction,
Oh, I did not mean
or
to move.
is that only a
Oh,
philosophical
thank God.
subject matter? And instead we should just treat literally. You should go out and make money because it supports you, rather than saying you should go out and make money, it supports you, thus it is good. You just say it
Wait.
supports you, and that's where you end.
What are you asking? Like, yes, we should teach moral theory. Sure, it should be like a class in high school.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with moral theory, but not moral instruction.
What? We can still give moral instructions, fine. They're just called hypothetical imperatives.
Okay.
So you would say that making money is good rather than it just supports us in society?
Well, I don't think making money has anything to do with morality, but so I'm not sure what your question is. Is like, are you asking like, should we use oughts at all?
Yeah, should we use the term good at all when you can just be literal and say what's actually happening?
I mean, yes, we can definitely use the term good. The term good doesn't only apply to morality, so yes, we can use the term good.
Okay. So then we should teach in schools that people do what's good, as opposed to
Got a runner.
say we should do what supports us in society, because that's what we all do.
I have no idea what you're asking.
Like he's asking, like, should we be like literal when we're speaking about I don't know what, but with a certain subject, or should we say it's good? I mean, you should do this because it's good, or because so and so. Like that's kind of what they're asking.
That didn't make any sense either. So we should
Both
definitely say there are moral things, and we should teach people to do the moral thing, and say it's moral to do this. We should also teach people to do the pragmatic thing. This is the pragmatic thing, and you should do this because it's the pragmatic thing. So yes, we should both teach people to do the moral thing and the pragmatic thing, which is good for society.
But then isn't the moral thing just do what's good because it's beneficent? No, do what's beneficent because it's good.
No, that's the pragmatic thing. What's beneficial is pragmatic, not necessarily good. Like it can be pragmatic to steal food, but it's not good.
I don't get that.
So you can have a positive outcome from doing an evil thing. Like I can make money by stealing from the poor. Therefore, it would be pragmatic for me to steal money.
But then stealing is good in that person's eyes, surely.
Well, what is in their eyes doesn't matter. There's an objective morality, and there's pragmatism. So there's things that can have benefits, and that the things that have benefits have nothing to do with morality. Things aren't good because they have a benefit. Okay,
I have a question from Twitch for you.
go for it.
They ask, are you a nihilist or maybe an absurdist?
No, I am neither of those things. I think there is a objective value.
All right, Stiggy, you should have the ability to come up now.
TJump, do you think there's an absolute moral law?
Yeah, sort of. I think there is an absolute moral law in like the naturalistic law of physics kind of a way, not like a law of humans kind of law.
So does this exist entirely in the human mind?
No, that's the opposite of objective.
Right. I'm just trying to understand. So I don't see how this is a coherent position. This
Does gravity
lack,
exist? Is gravity objective?
absolutely not.
Gravity doesn't exist.
No, I mean you're just affirming your own empiricist worldview.
Does stuff fall when you drop it?
Sure.
Is that caused by something?
No. It's just
Okay.
abstract perception. It's an
Okay.
abstraction of
What
consciousness.
does abstract mean, and what does perception mean?
Right. So abstract would just be made up by consciousness, right?
Not quite. Try again. Google what abstract means.
No, that's my position. Is that everything we see is an abstraction of consciousness?
Yeah. So what
Meaning
does
just
the
made up by
word abstract mean?
Right. I told you how I'm using the word.
Well, yeah, but what is like in philosophy and in the dictionary? What does the word abstract mean?
So when I say an abstraction
I
of
don't care.
consciousness,
I don't care what you say. What does the dictionary say? The
well, I don't
definition of
see the
abstract is.
contradiction in that statement.
Okay, so what does the dictionary say is the definition of abstract?
Sure, I'll look it up for you.
Thank you.
Existing in thought or as an idea, but not having a physical or concrete existence.
So
where's the contradiction?
So if you're perceiving something, that means you're experiencing it, right?
No, that's not what I said.
You said abstract perception. Perception is like sense experience, right? You perceive.
No, I
it.
said an abstraction of consciousness.
Well, you didn't say that. You haven't. That's the first time you said that. I don't know what you mean that.
No.
What is an abstraction of consciousness? I don't know what that means either.
Well, I did say it, and you wanted me to define abstraction.
You said an abstract perception. Those were the two words I was showing as a contradiction. What do you think abstract consciousness is?
Like I said, it's just everything that seems to be external is just abstraction.
Okay.
Using the working definition that we provided.
Okay. That doesn't work. Literally, the words don't mean that, but...
Yeah, so
is there a
abstraction
point,
again
argument?
would be a thought of consciousness. I don't see the contradiction.
Abstractions would be a thought of consciousness. So
Right, this is.
do you know what synthetic and analytic are? Do you know what the words synthetic and analytic mean?
No.
Okay, so analytic means things that you can know just by thinking about it. Damn it, I just gave him my queen. And synthetic means things you can't know by thinking about it. So, like, synthetic would be sense experience. You can't know sense experience just by thinking about it. You have to have some extra ability to see or hear or sense something. So, abstractions are analytic. They're things you can know just by thinking about it. Sense perception, the things you see around you in the world, are synthetic. They're things you can't know just by thinking about it.
Okay, you can make that claim, but I don't know if if you can be 100% certain if you're operating off of an empiricist like position. You'd have to be fallible with that claim.
Those are just the definitions of the word. So we can be 100% certain on those because we've made up the definitions.
No.
Yes.
That we can't be, I don't understand how that's logical.
If we make up the definitions, that means they're not something that exists in reality. That's something that exists in our imagination. So the meaning of them is given by our imagination.
Right, but in your worldview, they would just be conceptualizations which are fallible.
No. So if I make up a word like something like that, I can be 100% certain to what it means because I made up the word.
No. See, that would actually work in my worldview, but not in yours, because you would have to be a fallibilist.
No. See, your worldview that doesn't work. Your worldview that does not work because God could be deceiving you and you wouldn't be able to tell a difference. So my worldview that works, your worldview that does not work.
I mean, even if I just grant that, it still doesn't work in your worldview. Even if I grant that God is just deceiving us, it doesn't work in your worldview because everything would be like every conceptualization would be a result of sense data, which is fallible in your worldview. You'd need to be consistent with that.
No. Again, analytic things are the opposite of sense data. Analytic things are things you know by thinking about it. So they're not things via sense data. They're things that you know by thinking about it.
Right, but in your worldview, sense data would play an important part because it's the perception.
No. Analytic means not, has nothing to do with it at all. So I think I think you need to Google analytic synthetic distinction and just learn what those words mean.
Yeah, I understand you're using definitions, but you're not telling me how this...
Well, I literally am. I literally am telling you by using these definitions. The fact that you don't understand it is
So do you think humans... Do you think if humans respond with no sense experience, they could still come to the same conclusions with definitions?
Yes, that's what analytic means.
Okay, how? Like, how can you demonstrate that?
Because analytic, by definition, is things you can know by thinking about it. So if I lost all my sense experience, I can't smell, taste, hear, touch, whatever the other one is, I could still think. So thinking is not a sense experience. Thinking is an additional thing.
I mean, fine. Even if I were to just grant that, you're still able to think, which is evident of God's existence.
No, it's
right?
not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. That's a nice made-up assertion with no evidence, but you
were just doing that for like 15 minutes.
No, I never did that.
You were relying on definitions. You were just affirming your
definitions.
own
Definitions
claims.
aren't evidence. I didn't say there's evidence of this definition. I just said it's the definition.
Right. So would these then be brute facts in your worldview?
No, definitions are not brute facts. The fact that you just don't know any of the basic definitions of philosophy is a problem on your end.
No. The problem is your proposition.
All right. Next, I've debunked you enough.
Hey, TJump.
Did you have anything before I move on to someone?
Anybody?
Oh, I got back in, but I'll let whoever talk.
Hey, TJump. Real quick, I'm a newly convinced determinist.
Cool.
Do you?
Go ahead.
So you did not freely choose to come up to this stage, is that correct?
Correct. It was determined by my mental processes.
Ooh, wow.
Knowing that things can be illusory,
why people are like starting words and then stopping mid-sentence? Is this like a bug or what?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Can I?
My internet sucks. I'll drop out.
You can also type it and like tag Giz or one of the other mods, and they can read it. Don't tag me.
Can I interject?
Go ahead, Yahweh.
Can I interject?
Go ahead. Your way.
I was wondering, have you reconsidered your answer that you gave me in relation to my two infallible propositions, the authorship of the 7-day cycle by the God of the Hebrews and its universal application? You said that the Javanese were a nation. Are you still holding on to the Javanese as a nation?
Yep, they disprove your entire worldview.
Can you explain to me where we can find this information where the Javanese is a nation?
Nation isn't defined by flags. Nation is defined by a group of people who own a body of land. They are a group of people who own a body of land.
What's the name of the nation?
The Javanese nation.
It's called the Javanese nation?
Yep.
Are you still holding on to this? Because I'm wondering where we can get this information.
Just
Are you
Google,
the only one who
like
claims this?
Mormon? There's a Mormon nation. Mormons have a nation, even though they live in a different country. There are many nations of people who live in other countries. That is still a nation.
Okay. Are you aware that the Javanese are within a nation which is called?
Okay. Next.
Okay, TJump question.
Hey, Untitled, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks, and you? So, if you take a decision, is it your brain which takes the decision? What plays your eye in that decision? Because I've never seen someone come in before a judge, and then he asked him, "Can you explain what happened in regards of the murder that you just committed?" And then the person will say, "Well, it wasn't me; it was my brain. I'm sorry, I am innocent."
Yeah, so Robert Sapolsky did a great lecture series on this where he specifically said that progress in neurology has invalidated the criminal justice system. It's just not relevant anymore because it's been proven that the decisions aren't not at fault of the individual. We've demonstrated this empirically. We know for a fact this is the case. This has been proven beyond any reasonable doubt. And so criminal justice will need to be updated in order to accommodate the new knowledge of basic neurology.
Okay, so who should be accounted for a crime?
Nature should, or God if God created it, but nature.
Well, wouldn't this involve the I don't know if you put it utilitarian, but the pragmatic way of people going, like, why we give people sentences? I mean, of course it needs to be updated, but I mean, like what Otangelo would say, who should be responsible? Why are we punishing people, or it exists in that way in the first place?
Deterrence. So we use crime as a deterrent to prevent other people.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm just saying that you would still have to punish a person if something happened, even though we recognize the deterministic model.
Right. Well, the question is why do we punish them? Do we punish them because they are deserving? No, we punish them because it's a deterrent to try and prevent future crime.
Oh, I agree. Okay.
So if someone rapes a baby for fun and kills that baby,
yes, it's still their brain, Antangelo. It's still their brain.
We should make the brain responsible, which is not the eye. So what
Antangelo,
is your
wait,
eye?
Antangelo, that has literally happened. So there was actually literally a case where a man was a pedophile because he had a brain tumor. It was all due to his brain. And so once they removed the brain tumor, they let him go, gave him 0 prison time because it had nothing to do with his choices. It was all his brain. So if there is a way to cure them, then we can definitively just let them go. They can leave because we know for a fact it's caused by their brain. And if we can cure the sensation in their brain, then there's no reason to lock them up. We know for a fact it's the brain. This has been proven beyond all doubt. The fact that you're ignorant of science is a problem of your basic understanding.
No, it's a problem of my brain. I have no understanding whatsoever upon what you are just saying, right?
No, understanding is also a process of the brain, so you do have understanding in your brain.
Yes, but I mean, you should blame my brain and not me, right?
You
Isn't
are your
this
brain.
just psychology, Antangelo?
Well, I am just trying to make sense of what TJump is saying. So, what is your eye?
You mean eyes? My eyes?
No. What I mean, explain me who you are. You.
I am my brain.
Okay, so your brain.
Yes.
And your brain makes a decision to rape a baby for fun. But it isn't
we
you.
already covered this, Antangelo. This has literally happened. This is a case that literally happened. and has been ruled
so
in a
it's-
court of law. This
So
has already
it's
happened.
so it's not so okay. So it's not you. It's your brain.
Antangelo,
but what
Antangelo,
is
we
you?
already there is a legal case where this has literally already happened and already been decided. You have been proven wrong in a court of law, Antangelo.
Okay, so you don't exist. Only your brain exists, right?
Those are synonymous terms, Antangelo. You are your brain.
Okay. Okay.
I had something to talk about, but Tangelo,
Go
if you
for
want
it.
to try.
No, we had enough. We've
Okay.
had enough.
Okay.
I can actually find the guy's name. Like I remember this was a case.
I mean, honestly, TJump, this sounds so enormously absurd. What you are just saying.
Antangelo,
can't even
this is
imagine.
an actual case that's actually
I
occurred.
don't care, but you might make just claims. You are not backing them up.
Okay,
as you
okay.
always
Antangelo,
do.
backing them up. All right, so
That just seems
pedophile
to be-
brain tumor case.
Well, this is just biological psychology. I mean, we already know this. I don't know.
So yeah,
Well, I don't know
there's
what's the debate.
pedophilic brain tumor. Let's see if I can find the guy's name.
I mean, you just do increased aggression from hormones.
Well, it's not.
Well, I
it's not
don't-
increased aggression
I-
because it's only specifically towards children. So
I
it was
don't-
specifically about
listen,
children.
Listen carefully. I am not saying that there is a strong interaction between the mind and the brain, and that if the brain is damaged, that can influence how the mind.
Antangelo, we covered this. This has been.
with
You don't
the-
get an
with
opinion
the
here.
brain.
The courts and the neurologists and the professors and all of the judges, they got a say here. They determined that yeah, it was the brain tumor. The brain tumor caused all of this. There was no free choice involved. So all of the experts in both the legal fields and the neurology field say no, Antangelo is wrong. There was no choice involved here. It was a brain tumor.
Okay, so why don't animals operate in the same sense as humans do,
They
having
do.
free will?
We are animals, Antangelo.
Okay, do animals take free decisions?
We don't make free decisions, Antangelo.
Yeah, that's again just a claim.
Well,
No, that's supported by the consensus and all of the evidence in neurology. Every expert who knows anything knows that's the case.
Yeah, this is this is all psychology 101 stuff, though.
Okay, so can you divide your mind in two parts?
Yes.
And can you divide it in 100 parts?
Maybe. I don't know. I only know of evidence of a certain number, like when there's damage to the corpus callosum, you can have two consciousnesses in the same brain.
Okay, can one neuron become conscious? Just one neuron.
I don't know.
Okay, how many neurons do you need to get conscious?
I don't know. It doesn't change the fact that it is the brain.
It's just how you demonstrate consciousness.
So
anyways.
one neuron doesn't produce consciousness, but
Found it.
neurons-
Here it is. New Scientist. The sudden uncontrollable pedophilia of a 40-year-old man caused by an egg-sized brain tumor.
Yeah.
Brain tumor causes uncontrollable pedophilia. New Scientist. There's the article. You can find all the information on it. Would you like me to send you a link on Tangelo? I will back up my claim to crush you once again. Message.
Oh, you didn't
Message on
crush
Tangelo.
me. I already gave my explanation why I think you have no case.
Well, the court and the neurologist said you're wrong. So all of the people involved who are experts who actually evaluated the case say you're wrong.
We know that you believe blindly in what experts say, TJump.
Well, this is the whole field of psychology and the medical field. I mean, this is that's not just experts; it's practice.
Well, can scientists be wrong?
Yes, on Tangelo they can be, but you are always wrong. You are necessarily wrong. On Tangelo is necessarily wrong.
That's precious. That's
definition.
precious. Okay, I'm always wrong, TJump. That's funny.
It's true facts.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm devastated now by that criticism. I really.
It was pretty good. I just.
Yeah. Yeah. The joke was
a sick
really,
burn,
really
as the
good.
kids say.
Yeah, the joke was really good. TJump.
Thank you.
I had a question real quick.
Sure.
To clarify, kids don't say that was a sick burn anymore.
A lie. You just said it.
Regarding tactics.
Yeah, because I was.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, never mind.
Ha! So kids do say it. I win. Victory's mine. Also, something kids say.
Regarding tactics, I know you talk about philosophy. I am more of the opinion that Pine Creek has a more effective method, even though I know you know about philosophy and you're pretty good at it. When talking to a lot of these people. Well, I mean, you're talking people and you're like making them sound. I mean, of course, they sound dumb in the end, but.
Well, you said it's
making them
more
sound,
effective. More effective at what? Like, what's the goal?
Like exposing the kind of the dumbness that you find in some of these arguments. Like the guy who was here earlier. I don't know how long I watched a delayed stream. He was like, "Oh, we'll just the fact that I think proves God or something." I mean, that's like really, but you know, it. I don't know. I feel like the method of like, if you can just go back to the Bible, if you can just go back to all these things, it's easier because it's just like, oh, it's just a book. How are you getting past that? You know?
Yeah, but I don't like talking about the Bible because it's boring.
I don't know.
I mean, obviously, if you attack the weakest position in an argument, it's going to be a lot easier than if you attack the strongest position. But my interest is more attacking the strongest position.
You think the strongest position is the philosophical positions?
Yeah, like that. I mean, all of the evidence for God is garbage.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, it's a pretty low bar, but yeah, the best evidence they have is the philosophical stuff. Like the contingency argument is a legitimate argument. It's correct.
At what point would you just go, okay, we have what was the thing? The not sound, the other one.
Valid?
The valid argument, but we don't have a sound argument. I did this in your, maybe not in yours, maybe it was what was his name, Nathan's Discord. I did this where I said, hey, can God be proven? Or if God did something, can we see evidence of it? And that got into a whole argument. So the whole thing is that I like to say, okay, at the start of the argument, can it be sound? And I don't know. Is that a good idea or what?
I don't know what you're asking.
So if someone provides a argument for God or whatever in the syllogistic format, and they say, can it be sound? Like I ask, can it be verified in some regard? God is the cause, blah 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 blah.
Well, right. So the contingency argument is both valid and sound.
Right, but it doesn't. I mean, we can't prove anything as far as otherwise the cause. Okay, there's some nebulous cause, right? Is that what you're referring to? Like the
Kalam? Yeah, cosmological, Kalam cosmological. Yeah, so there are arguments in theism that are both valid and sound. They just don't necessarily indicate a God. And there are arguments most of them are valid because most of them are written by philosophers. So
would you say that's a I don't know how to describe an argument that you can conclude the whole thing and then you get to a conclusion and it's like, yeah, but that doesn't really, like, you know, the whole God is necessary, God has all these properties, blah 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 blah. How do you get to, like, what is it, a non sequitur, or is it just like your argument didn't prove what you said it did?
Those are the same thing, so that would be a non sequitur.
Yeah.
Okay, non sequitur or a red herring, both of those are the same thing. One is like a red herring is a kind of non sequitur.
So TJump, let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
You debate a lot of theists, right?
Yep.
So if my brain dictates my will and my choices, then I can't then to be a theist. What sense does it make for you?
Say that again. You can't do what?
If it is my brain that dictates my choices, my beliefs, who I am, right?
Yep.
So I cannot basically, in that case, choose to do anything else than what I do because the brain dictates it.
Yeah.
Okay? So I am a Christian. So why would you attempt to change my mind if it is my brain that dictates what I ought to believe?
Because I can change your brain. I can insert, like when I present an argument to you, it fires certain neurons, and those neurons change the shape in your brain due to neuroplasticity. And so I can change the shape of your brain and cause that, hopefully, to change you to a atheist. That's why people debate, because one sec.
So why
one sec,
is your brain...
wait. So the reason we debate is because since your brain is determined, if we give it the correct series of inputs, it will be determined to change from a theist to an atheist. If it wasn't the case that you were determined, then debating would be no point. It would just be random. So if there's no determined factor to it, then debating would have no point. So the fact that debating has a point actually proves that there is a reason to debate since it's determined. If it wasn't, then there wouldn't be a reason to debate. So it's the exact opposite of your argument.
So why have you been so exceedingly unsuccessful that venture?
Well, I haven't been. I've been very successful. Like, have you seen my YouTube channel? I make money.
It's not about making money.
Yes, it is. Why do you think I do this, Untangelo? I don't care what people believe. I care about money.
I mean, your brain cares about money, right?
I am my brain.
Because your brain is not you.
Yes. Sam Harris actually had a really good speech on this, where he said, if you find an argument convincing, you'll quote unquote helplessly follow it.
Yeah.
It just because TJump's argument isn't convincing to you doesn't mean that like it couldn't influence you. He can make an argument that says, hey, 100, if you follow my argument, you get 100 bananas, and for some reason that's your incentive, you would then follow his argument. I mean, this is all psychology 101 stuff.
Well, my goal isn't to convince people. I don't care if I actually convert anybody. My goal is money. So
there are much better ways to make much more money than through YouTube channels. TJump.
Okay,
why is your brain choosing
tell me this. I care about money, so I'm really interested in what you just said now. Tell me a way where I can do as little work and earn as much money as YouTube.
I think there are many ways.
Like what? I'm really interested to know. Tell me, Untangelo, how can I do as little work and make as much money?
Be a second Mark Zuckerberg.
So get lucky and invent a new technology? Like there's lots of people who invent new technologies who don't make lots of money. So that's not...
But he did.
Yes.
Copy him.
Untangelo.
Copy him.
People who win the lottery also make a lot more money, but it's a high risk scenario. So it's very unlikely I'm going to win. Whereas I'm doing very well on YouTube. I have won the YouTube lottery.
I don't understand, TJump. You say that your brain dictates what you ought to do. That seems as you are talking here about two separate entities, where the brain is one entity and yourself.
No, I am my brain. So I've already
entity.
said that like 10 times on Tangelo. I am my brain. You are your brain.
Okay, so it makes no sense whatsoever to say that you are constrained upon yourself, the decisions you make.
Well, I agree. I have no idea. What you just said makes no sense. I have no idea what you just said.
Okay, let me try to phrase it in a different way.
Can we ask
if you are your brain?
Yeah, somebody else got a question?
So you are dictating yourself.
TJump, I have a question.
Go for it. What's your question?
Would you say that logic presupposes intelligence?
Sort of, because logic is a language.
Right. So in your worldview, we evolved from non-intelligence. This would make your worldview absurd.
For Untangelo's sake, my brain said give T-Jumps $2. Say that again.
Do you know what intelligence is? Or you want to define that?
Apologize.
I said in your worldview, we evolved from non-intelligence, which
Yes.
would presuppose absurdity in non-intelligence.
No.
So we could conclude rationally that
logic didn't
atheism is
exist
non-intelligent.
before. Logic didn't exist before minds did.
Well, if naturalism were true, there would be no reasoning to support it.
Reality isn't contingent on reasoning. So all of reality existed before reasoning did.
Sure, but reality is just your perception.
No.
in your worldview?
No. Reality exists independent of perception. That's why it's called reality.
Right? How do you know this?
In our worldview. So in my worldview, that's the case. You were just straw manning my worldview.
I'm asking, is this a brute fact?
No. You said in your worldview, this is the case. In our worldview, that's not the case. It's not a brute fact. It's the case. It's evidentially concluded through looking at the evidence.
Yeah, I'm asking, without any foundation for logic, which is what your worldview holds, how are you able to?
Reality exists before logic. So all of the stuff in reality, Big Bang, quantum fields, all of that existed before logic did.
Doesn't
I'm asking, how do you know this though?
Evidence, all the evidence of science.
So the evidence of science points towards that.
Yes.
Right, you can't know this without utilizing reasoning, and you can't have
Yes,
reasoning
that's
without a foundation. You're
No.
utilizing spiral reasoning right now.
No.
So you're starting with a presupposition.
No, wrong,
But
wrong,
there is an
wrong,
ultimate presupposition.
Wrong. You don't get to tell me what I'm doing. You're ignorant of everything in philosophy, and I've had to correct you on pretty much every definition multiple times. You have no idea what I'm doing. What I'm doing is actually saying that, yes, we can ground everything without a foundation. You don't start by assuming your conclusion. You don't start with a God. You start with your experience and then build off of that to try and conclude what the foundation is. So your worldview is a dumbass worldview. That's what the technical term, dumbass worldview. The correct way to do it is to start with the phenomenon, our experience, and build up. Not start with your conclusion and build down, because you're just begging the question. Science, the way we do it, where we build up from not knowing what the foundation of reality is and then learning it later, is the correct way to do everything.
Wouldn't God be in naturalism?
Depends. Like, if you're a naturalistic theist, then God could be natural.
Well, like, isn't naturalism just pretty much reality? And
No. Naturalism is the view that all there is a natural ontology. So there's like a supernaturalism where there's a supernatural ontology and extra stuff there. So naturalism doesn't just mean everything.
Oh, okay. My misunderstanding then. I was like, well, if God did things and existed, he would be a part of natural reality. So, but then there's the weird supernatural stuff. So,
anybody else want to play chess? All right, Ilmatic, what time is the Matt Slick thing on Friday?
Hear me?
Yes. What time?
Yeah. All right. So, from what I understand, I think it's supposed to be around the same time that it says in the announcement.
What time does it say in the announcement?
Here, let me go down here and see just in case.
Well, I say it was 8 EST.
Yeah, then 8 EST. I didn't know because last time we got confused on the date. So I will double check with him just in case.
All right. Yeah. So for everybody watching, we're going to have Matt Slick, the tag guy, the tag theist, on Discord for a Q&A on Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time. So join the Discord to annoy Matt Slick with questions.
Yep.
Also, anybody else want to play chess? Let me know.
The apologetic has his hand up. Is that?
No, he's the annoying precept guy who doesn't know any of the words in philosophy.
Meanwhile, for the other audience members, I got my eye out in case any of you want to raise your hand.
Apologetic, you know that people in philosophy don't take precepts seriously, right?
For a good reason.
Yeah, like I'm in school for philosophy, and literally nobody in school takes it seriously. Like not a single professor.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's clearly a joke, but
I mean,
TJump,
yeah.
Quick question. Like I'm a new viewer of you, and I see you when you challenge theists, you particularly focus on the philosophy of theism. Do you ever find that using the specifics of Christianity or things in the Bible will ever help with your argument, or just the philosophy by itself can sink their argument?
It depends on the argument. So like I've had several debates on is God evil? In which case I use the Bible for sure, like God drowned babies.
Okay.
Jesus drowned babies. Jesus drowned babies is the best argument. So there's definitely many cases where using stuff in the Bible can support your argument, but it's just never interesting. It's boring to talk about the Bible.
Yeah.
Like I want to talk about the interesting stuff, like the best arguments theists have, not the worst ones.
Dig it. Thanks, man.
Yep. All right. That's garbage. Garbage. You guys got questions?
So, how
Hello?
long do you sell an NFT of your chair?
I mean, I could, I guess. I wouldn't. I'm not like a fan of NFTs, but
Could only be one.
Hello, TJump.
hey, how's it going?
Hey, man. Yeah, so I've just having a lot of trouble with my microphone. Yeah, I was going to ask you about determinism, because it's a concept that I only came across over the last few years, and the more I look into it, it seems like incredibly hard to refute. And I suppose, like, for someone like me who's sort of coming around to the idea, I suppose for me the sort of resistance to it is to say that we are in effect just robots if we accept hard determinism. Do you agree with that view? Or?
Sure. I mean, I don't see a problem with us being robots. Like, if there's free will, it can be done by robots. And if there's no free will, then we're still the same. So robots, either way, even if there is free will, robots can do it. So saying we're robots isn't an insult. It doesn't change anything whether or not we're robots.
Do you think that it's a logical entailment of hard determinism?
No, it's like saying if we're made of supernatural goo, that doesn't mean we have any more or less ability. So saying we're robots, if we're made of silicone or biology or supernatural stuff, none of those change anything. What we're made of isn't an insult. It's not an insult to say we're robots. Like saying we're robots isn't a bad thing. I mean, usually when people say that, they mean like, well, we're determined. Like, so it's not an insult.
I think it's to say like we're not in full control. Like we have an identity. Like I have an identity that no one else can be me. You have an identity no one else can be you. It's to say if we're robots, like that's just an illusion that we have. Or do you think it's an illusion? Our identity?
No. That wouldn't. Robots can have identity too.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, in terms of our identity, what in terms of like the biological process from when we're born, going right back to the sperm meets the egg, at what point do you think our identity sort of comes into the process?
Some point after we get consciousness.
I suppose what I'm asking is where do you think our identity comes from? Or, because if it's all biological, I still feel like me, you still feel like you. And at some point that identity is sort of dropped in the biological process of you being born.
Yeah,
and
it's not born, it's just your brain development. So I'm not. So yes, you have brain development, and the brain development gives you a sense of identity. We know that when kids turn about age 4 or something, they start being able to perceive themselves in mirrors and perceive others in chairs and stuff when they leave the room, like delayed perception.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Will.
Yep.
Yeah, question.
Sure.
Why not just reference people to psychology? Like, explaining this to people, like especially like on Tangelo, or it's got to be like I can't. Well, I mean, Tangelo is his own thing, but just explaining to people like how we come to any decision has to be like just basic psychology over and over and over, as opposed to I don't even know. Do you find free will coherent at all?
No. Well, I mean,
like liberal free will, not
no. I don't think it's logically possible. I think free will is a logical impossibility.
Okay, I have this discussion a lot, the determinism and psychology thing. So I was kind of I don't know how you explain free will, at least as a method to say this is why someone made the decision without going into a deterministic causality model. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. The way I say it is free will is logically impossible because everything is either done for reasons, in which case it's determined, or it's done for no reason, in which case it's random, and neither of those is free. So I agree. I don't think free will is possible.
Cool.
That's similar to Peter Van Inwagen's argument.
He's a theist, isn't he?
I think so. But basically, the view is that if an agent has no control over the facts of the past, then that agent also doesn't have any control over the consequences of those facts, right?
Yep.
So seemingly, so seemingly an agent just doesn't have control over any of the laws of nature which dictate what reality is like, right?
Well, yeah, because they exist in reality.
Better.
TJump. So
Hey.
my question, I had asked you earlier if you're a nihilist or an absurdist, and then I forgot your reply. I apologize that you're not one, but
Neither. I'm a
because of
realist.
what? Okay. So when you mean realist, in what way is that a contradiction against nihilism?
Nihilism says there is no objective value. Realism says there is objective value. It's a real thing. Those are the opposite of each other.
Dropped out?
Yeah, now I can hear you again. You still there?
You might have to mess with Discord. They have issues with audio.
Yeah, I'm not seeing how it'll light up at all. Although, if you want to finish up, you can just tag me with the question and I'll say it in here. While we wait, do we have any else? Oh, we do. David can something. All right, let's put him up.
I know I did accept. Sorry. Can you hear me now? Yeah, you can. Okay.
Is the Earth flat?
No, is that your question? No. Okay. Well, anyways, my question.
I figured I'd bring a little comedy to the routine here.
Okay. My question to TJump is, what's his best argument against consequentialism?
In consequentialism,
Because I've heard him say it's crap, but
yeah, in consequentialism, any action, no matter how immoral, can be classified as a moral action if it has a secondary positive outcome. So you can say killing 1 million babies is the moral thing to do if the consequence of killing 1 million babies saves 2 million people. So I think that consequentialism is crap because it determines that any action, no matter how bad, can be moral if it has positive consequences. Whereas in my model, the difference is that any action that involves involuntary imposition of will is going to be immoral no matter what the consequences are.
Okay, well, my next question is going to be that if I'm looking at the same evidence as you when it comes to moral intuition, and my moral intuition does not lead me to any involuntary impositions of will, and it leads me to desirable consequences, because our intuitions are going to disagree, and our analysis of like what society's intuitions are going to disagree, then what would be your argument against that?
I'd say you're factually wrong, and we will determine that when we discover objective morality, you'll be proven to be factually wrong.
Okay, that's a good answer. Yeah. So, did you, when you did your analysis, because you've obviously had the same morality all the way back since like 2017, I think is when you put out your secular morality video. Like, was your analysis something that you went through and you analyzed a whole bunch of moral dilemmas, and you looked at like polling data of how? Sorry, say.
Yes. So I did look at the moral dilemmas. I looked at the what's it? There's something else too. The problems, like good, the is-ought problem, G.E. Moore's open question argument. I looked at all the big problems in philosophy and all the big moral dilemmas: trolley problem, fat man trolley problem, the hospital problem, and I looked at the patterns in moral intuition over time, moral progress, and moral intuitions. Those are the 4 major factors. I think there was one more. I don't remember what it was though.
Yeah, it's on the same slide, but I guess I just haven't really seen like longitudinal data from people's polling of these sort of moral questions. So,
what do you mean? So like women's rights, voting rights, LGBT rights, Indian slavery. Like there's a pretty clear pattern across history of moral shifting. It wasn't like we didn't like take a poll back when there was slavery. We just like eliminated slavery. That's the poll. The poll is that slavery got eliminated.
Yeah, that makes more sense, I guess. I don't know why I was thinking of polls, because I don't know. I guess in some of your debates you say like you survey intuition somehow. I don't know.
But, yeah, survey would just mean any way to look at the intuitions across the time period. It doesn't literally mean take a survey. I don't think I actually said survey, but yeah, so it would just mean I'm looking at the moral intuitions across time and how they change, which would be just looking at the things, the laws that change, like legalizing, making slavery illegal, or legalizing women's rights and gay rights and those kinds of things.
Okay, yeah, that clarifies a lot. I don't want to keep railroading with questions, but if no one else has one, I got another one. But it's not about morality.
Go for it.
I got one.
Okay, go ahead.
My question would actually be, what do you really think the meaning of life is?
For each individual to define their own. That I think is what the meaning of life is. To find your own meaning.
How do you go about doing that?
Explore.
Can you elaborate?
Try different things, figure out what you enjoy and what you value, and try other things.
That's a good answer.
So I had a problem. Well, I'll go back to morality. Actually, I had a problem with you and Adam Freen's debate, where he does bring up like very noteworthy. I guess it's a psychologist. It wasn't a philosopher, a psychologist, who wrote The Righteous Mind, and how there is like 6 different intuitions as opposed to just your one intuition. Like, do you just
there's not like a number of there's thousands of intuitions. So like saying that a fully red object can't be fully green is an intuition, or a triangle doesn't have 4 sides is an intuition. There's all kinds of intuitions. I think the Hyatt, wasn't it Jonathan Hyatt?
Yeah.
His intuition thing is mostly just a classification of like political intuitions. It doesn't have anything to do with morality. There are only like a few of them were moral.
And his you just disagree with the methodology that like finds different moral intuitions that like further explain like the intuition that we say is moral.
Wow.
So
no, I agree with Jonathan Haidt's work. Like I think those are a good description of the general political inclinations we have. They're not moral inclinations, those are political inclinations. But I don't see the relevance to the question of morality.
I guess I thought it was referencing more moral intuitions, not political ones, because it all is all about like all your different political intuitions and stuff, but it sort of goes it goes past it here. I'll bring up the part in the debate later, maybe, and message it to you. But I also had a separate question about epistemology that I wanted to get to.
Okay.
So, when you're trying to go in and define the subjective versus the objective, I guess I sort of had this idea that these kind of concepts are so like fucking into it. It's kind of hard to just like think of them because I'm not really a philosopher. But how like what you use only the definition that the theists use, right? When you say it's like outside your opinion, right?
Yeah, I try to use the same definitions the theists are using to be compelling. Yes.
Okay. And so, what is the best evidence of something being objective? Is it is it like a you can like collaborate your experience with one another, or is it more of the novel testable predictions? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, the best way to test it is that your imagination is not very good at predicting the future. So if you can come up with some kind of a methodology that can be very, very good at predicting the future, it's most likely that that thing is somehow independent of your imagination or corresponds to something independent of your imagination.
And you're kind of using opinion and independent imagination as synonymous, right?
No. So like your imagination is very bad at predicting the future. But
yeah.
So if you can come up with some idea in your head that is very good at predicting the future, it probably corresponds to something independent of your imagination. So objective.
Okay, so in the man, I didn't even write this one down, but there was it was in the godless girl debate. She was kind of pressing you on what would make it objective versus subjective, and you did reference, you'd say it would be evidence if a lot of people agreed that something was objective, but you go ahead and you say further like that's not what makes it objective, right? Just to like clarify.
I have no idea. Like that debate was mostly just trolling godless girl. I don't know if there are any actually coherent points that were made.
But okay, yeah. I don't know. I really liked your video about the fallen cups and devious fairies.
Yeah,
that one.
Allegory of the scientific method thingy.
Yeah. That one. I found that one pretty compelling. So when you okay. So objectivity is just something that's just a fact about the universe, right?
Yes, something true independent of opinion.
Yeah. Okay, and then the subjective part is just your opinion. Like, it is just your opinion.
True contingent on opinion, yeah.
A contingent on opinion, okay. I don't know, I just had some clarifying questions on that. Anybody else can go if they want.
I had a question, but I don't know if I can ask it. Because you're streaming on YouTube. I had to deal with like trans stuff, and I know YouTube's really sensitive.
Yeah, you can ask it. I debate trans issues all the time. Like I have a whole debate on saying trans women are not women is transphobic or not.
That debate was okay. Debate was kind of laughable, but so trans women's in women's sports. What is your opinion on that?
Leave it up to the sports. I think the people who run the sports should decide. I think it would be best to have a trans sport. Like I think it'd be like Special Olympics, but trans Olympic. I think that would be more fair because there is definitely an unfair advantage that many trans people would have, and correcting for the biological differences is very hard. So I think I would probably, if I was in control, make it a trans sport, not integrated into men's and women's sports.
Okay. And following up same topic is I don't personally, I've tried to research this, but I always get down rabbit holes and it doesn't help. Is there any trans rights that you know in particular that are like a focus that we should be working on?
I have no idea. Like, I don't really consider it a big issue. Like, I am for inclusivity and diversity and the fact that we should treat everybody with respect or whatever, but we definitely I'm not for trying to force people to use particular language or not. So I don't know if there's any like trans issues that I think are really serious. They seem mostly like, oh, I want you to say these words and not these words, which I don't consider to be a serious issue.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I've tried to think of many comments, and I can't really think of anything or questions. I'll see it.
Yep.
If somebody uses the definition of if somebody uses the definition of objective as in like you need other people's to be able to validate that this is a fact or not, then that's just an argument. It's a logical fallacy. I just don't know how it is though. It's just like like appealing to this like appealing to population. That's an argument fallacy. I don't know. I got in a debate with somebody and I just completely like it just didn't even. I couldn't get my points across on this issue about objectivity.
So saying that you need something to be testable and repeatable and verifiable by other people is a perfectly reasonable assessment to show that it's not just your personal psychology doing it. So it doesn't prove it's objective in any like absolute certainty sense, but it does show it's not, or decreases with a high level of certainty that it's not just a psychological problem in your brain. Like you could be hallucinating it or whatever. But if somebody else tests it and gets the same result, then the probability you're hallucinating it goes down.
It rules out your personal bias. Okay.
Hey, Ed, how's it going? Does TJump do press release? TJ. I'd like to donate one. Like, sure, I'd love to do a press release. I have no idea how to do that one. Let me know, TJ, how to do a press release. Put me on Fox News. That would be hilarious. Hallucinations are normal occurrences. Hallucinations are extremely common. When you have to prove that they were what? You guys got any questions? Debate stuff?
TJump, are you a dualist?
No.
Okay.
I'm a monist, a materialist, so I think that everything is material.
Yeah, me too.
That's another positive thing about TJump.
Yeah, I agree with you on that stuff. I had this long discussion with Darth Arianis about this. Yes.
Me too.
Was he he's not a dualist, is he?
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Like a property dualist?
Yes.
Oh, so because property dualism isn't like saying that consciousness exists, like idealists or saying that they're two completely different ontologies. Property dualism is just saying that there's a new thing that comes about as an emergent property. So it's not like property dualism isn't really a big deal. It's kind of the same.
No, he thinks that the thoughts are not material.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, their properties are all of their own. They're completely independent.
Well, properties are a subset of things. Properties aren't independent. To say if it was independent, then it would have to be like a new ontology. So there's a difference between property dualism and like ontology dualism. Property dualism just says that there's new properties that come about by like emergent causes. They're still fundamentally physical, as opposed to like ontology dualism where there's two separate kinds of stuff in the universe.
You're not a property dualist either, right?
Probably not. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's a really important position. I think you can just say you're a materialist and still be a property dualist, and it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, I think that we are like whatever the materials are of our brain and our central nervous
That's
systems
it.
is truly what
Property
we
dualism versus substance dualism. So substance
No, but
dualism claims that the mind is a separate thing than the physical human being, whereas property dualism claims that the mind, although different than the physical human frame, is still linked and thus will end in our death, something like that. So it's like emergent property.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, when I kick the bucket, it's all done. And it's really emergent property of my brain, whatever I am. No one driving this ship.
Hello.
Hey.
I got a question about the meaning of life that you answered before.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask, is it quote unquote legal to say in philosophy that there is no meaning of life, to life, if you're thinking objectively?
Well,
Like if there is someone outside, like if someone is looking at the earth, or even if I look at the earth or look at someone who's very far away from me, like, I don't know, like a farmer in somewhere that his meaning of life doesn't affect mine. Can I say that there is no meaning to life?
That's called a nihilist position. So there's a nihilist say there is no meaning to life. Or you can say there's a subjectivist where it's all, each subjective person has their own meaning, and it's subjectivism. I'm a realist, so I think there is an objective meaning to life.
Okay, so I thought nihilism is you saying there's nothing outside of you. So is that the...
No, nihilism says there is no meaning anywhere.
Oh, I see,
ever.
I see. Got it. Thank you.
Yep. The one that's just in you is subjectivism. So if there's no meaning outside of your subjective values, that's subjectivism.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
What's your opinion in hard solipsism?
I think it's silly. Possible, but silly. You could all be figments of my imagination.
But it's not realistic for that opinion.
Yeah, it's more like we could be in the Matrix. It's like it's the same thing.
Hey Tom, can you hear me?
Hey Frank, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, man? I was gonna ask you, is there a distinction between saying that there's a mind outside of time and space, and instead of saying there's a God outside of time and space?
Sure, like there could be a mind that didn't create the universe, and that would be a mind that's not a god.
What if the mind did create the universe?
Well, then it would be pretty close to a god. So, like, if there is a non-physical mind outside of space, time, and matter that created the universe, that would pretty much fit any definition of a god, generally.
Yeah, I was talking to Darth about it, Darth Arianis, because he believes in some sort of mind outside of the universe that created everything. So, but he doesn't call it God.
That's odd.
I thought he was saying he just thought that that's a possibility. I didn't think he really said he believes it. He just said it couldn't be ruled out, I think. I could be wrong.
If you have questions, remember to please raise your hand or in chat at me with the question and I'll say it.
I mean, I guess it'd be possible to have like an entire society outside of time, space, and matter, and like one of the beings in that society created our universe, and it wouldn't be a god. I guess that would be the case. But if there was just like one being outside of time, space, and matter, and it created literally everything else other than itself, then I think that would qualify as a God. But maybe if it's outside of time, space, and matter, along with a whole bunch of other stuff, and it didn't create any of that other stuff, it just created our universe, then it would be possible. You guys got any questions, comments?
Yeah,
Yes?
sure. Yeah, if no one's got one, it might be a silly one, but whatever. It's when thinking about I think therefore I am, Descartes' sentence or whatever you want to call it, the Cartesian start of epistemology. How is this? Can you explain to me how this is a metaphysical truth and not a conceptual truth? Because if you define conceptual truths as just your personal experience and stuff inside your head, then how is this something that you think is like completely outside of your personal experience?
Because there's no way for me to think I exist and be wrong. So that thought, the thought that I exist can't possibly be wrong in any possible world. God can't make it wrong.
Yeah. Can a person actually do a flip and say, I am, therefore I think?
I think that would just be the same thing because they're kind of synonyms. It's saying the same thing twice. And you can exist without thinking, but you can't think without existing. So probably not. So it'd be like you can say, I am holding a rose, therefore I am holding a flower. But you couldn't say I am holding a flower, therefore I am holding a rose. So you can say I think, therefore I exist, but you couldn't say I exist, therefore I think, because for the same reason. Like holding a flower doesn't mean you're holding a rose, but holding a rose does mean you're holding a flower.
So I went through, I don't know when I saw this, but did you ever have any other propositions that you would put in the metaphysical category
1 + 1 = 2, A = A, I count those as metaphysical.
Okay. Wait, so would you count the law? Did you ever, or would you ever now count the law of non-contradiction?
Possibly. I mean, I'm happy to grant the basic laws of logic just as preemptively what I think might be metaphysical. I don't know if it would be for certain or not, but I'm happy to grant it for the sake of the argument. So, but definitely I know that the law of non-contradiction can be challenged, like Quine's argument against it, or that was the excluded middle. That wasn't the law of non-contradiction. That was the excluded middle.
I think Schrodinger's cat's isn't Schrodinger's cat's the what offers the argument against the law of non-contradiction?
No, that's the excluded middle.
Oh, that's excluded middle. Okay.
Yep. The quantum mechanics are all excluded middle options. There are the ones that doubt the non-contradiction are paraconsistent logics. Those are separate. And then dialetheistic logics reject the law of identity.
Can you explain how this isn't just like a logical truth, like just the identity truths, and man, what would you define as like a logic truth? Because in your categories on your epistemology video, you do have logic as a conceptual truth.
Yeah,
but these laws sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, logic is a conceptual truth. Logic is a form of language.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Like I tend to grant that the laws of logic are metaphysical, but they may not be. Like there's definitely many different kinds of logic, like paraconsistent logic and dialetheistic logics. So they aren't necessarily metaphysical. I just usually think they're probably metaphysical.
Please use the pings in the main stage chatter to talk to us if you're going to use texting.
Okay, that's what I didn't get there. You just meant by logic as like language when you put it in the conceptual. Okay, that makes sense.
TJ, okay, you said you're going to hit me up on Facebook with stuff about press releases. Cool. Talk to you tomorrow. We can joke, but please don't joke about God. Like, clearly, like, joking about God is like the more funny thing to do. Stating that God is a pudding.
I'm God. How you doing?
God is a pudding. I like it.
He's actually correct. There is a kind of pudding called God.
There is a kind of God called pudding.
Probably.
Any other questions? Anybody want to play chess? Comments, debates, whatever? Was it Quantum who said he played chess? I think it was Quantum who said he wanted to play chess. And then Philosophopoet, I think said he played chess.
How can you play? Do you have to download an app or something?
No, I just send you a link and you open the link.
Okay, I'll play.
All right. Derp. Lee chess. Play with friend. Copy link. Go back to the server. God 420. Send message. Paste.
I didn't say I was going to play it. I got the.
Oh, who is it? Who said he wanted to play?
Me.
Strong
atheist. Strong atheist.
Message. Send to strong atheist.
Strong atheist, but weak chess. What now?
Chess catcher.
I think he's calling you out, strong atheist.
You can play him next. Chess capture. Correspondence. Derp. There you go. Done. All right, go there.
All right. I have another question, but this might just be semantical.
Sure. Semantic. It'd be semantic. Semantical, I don't think is a word.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it might be just a difference in semantics. But so if it is either, if you do say, like, you'll grant that, like, pair-consistent logic might be a better way of describing reality through, wouldn't, as opposed to just having, like, I guess you're using like a more standard logic, or
yep.
How would you describe this sort of logic that you?
Yeah, standard logic is correct.
Yeah, standard logic. Okay. If it is like a difference of it being sort of tentative and defeasible, then how does the standard logic be put in the category of metaphysical and still be tentative and defeasible?
I just say I grant it for the sake of the argument that it is in the metaphysical claim. I don't say it is necessarily there. So I just say it could be.
Okay.
I tend to grant that it is.
Is I think, therefore I am tentative and defeasible?
No. You can't think you exist and be wrong. But it's possible that the best way to describe that sentence may be paraconsistently, and we don't know how to express that.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I can see that, yeah.
Who's watching? God, 420. You're watching a movie? We can hear your movie.
No, that was your chess game did that.
No, it did not. There was music. I heard music.
No, there's a sound setting on it. You can switch the sound. I didn't realize it was going to do that.
Likely story.
Likely story.
By the way, if any viewers want to ask a question, just raise your hand.
Tom, if you were to assign a label to your morality, because you have a very unique one that I don't think I've ever heard anywhere else, what would the label be and different labels like, the normative ethics labels, deontology, consequentialist, virtue ethic, or is it just another thing?
It's just another thing. I just labeled
Okay,
my
yeah,
own
just
morality.
other.
It would be a kind of moral realism, naturalistic moral realism. Moral naturalism. I think that's it. I think it's a moral naturalism.
Yeah, I'm just going off. Like they ask 3 different questions on the filled papers. Sorry, they ask normative ethics, deontology, consequentialism, or virtue ethics. Then they ask the cognitivist versus non-cog, and then they ask.
I'm definitely a cognitivist.
Yeah. That one's obvious, but I guess you would just click other for when they ask what your normative ethics are.
Yeah, it'd be moral naturalism would be the one that would fit into there. I'm going to keep going for like another 6 minutes or so. So if anybody else got questions or whatever, let me know before I head out because I need a nap. I'm falling asleep.
What's your take on abortion?
Immoral but justified.
Are you pro-choice or pro-life?
Pro-choice.
What's your reason for pro-choice?
That the woman has rights over her body and no other human being has a right to be in her body without her consent.
When would you classify it as a human?
Hardly, or from the single cell. It's a human from a single cell.
Not all humans deserve life?
Well, yeah, all humans deserve life.
And it's the circular argument is right there.
Huh?
If all humans deserve life, how come you're pro-abortion or pro-choice?
It's pragmatic, so it's still immoral to kill them because they're a living being, but it's justified because it's self-defense of your own body.
And I've heard you say this because it meets the criteria of self-defense, right? And that's why it's justified to kill it.
Yep. Still immoral.
Okay.
It's still a living being. It's still a human being. You're still killing it. It's still immoral to kill it. It's just justified, like killing someone who's attacking you.
Okay. Well, I guess I got a dilemma that I could push back on this as. How would you classify conjoined twins? Because where one conjoined twin.
2 humans?
Go ahead.
2 humans?
Yeah, but you'd classify them as 2 humans, but are they both intruding on each other's body, or whose body is it actually, like, whose body is it really?
Well, if they're like split 50-50, then it's 50-50. But if one of them has slightly more than the other, then it would probably be classified as mostly theirs. Whoever, like, you can determine by the shape of the body which one has priority, and usually it's the case that with those kinds of twins, one has more control over the body. So it is the case that biologically one of them is usually more. But yeah, you can tell that there's one has part and the other has another part.
Okay, so if one conjoined twin and they both share a liver and nothing more than the liver, just the liver, they're conjoined at that part, like sort of close to their shoulder, and one's like, okay, well, I want to eat this pill, but this pill's gonna kill you, but once that happens, I get to like keep the liver to myself, and this is like it's a complete moral dilemma. You say, look, hold off on eating the pill, and we'll like work out a solution to like get you guys apart. What's the most justified like scenario on something that the one conjoined twin wants to just kill the other one?
That would be immoral.
Oh, it'd be it's all immoral, but like we're working within practical justifications.
Well, I don't think it would ever be a practical justification in that case because their liver is equally as much theirs as yours, equally as much a part of them as it is part of you. You could say, I want to get rid of my liver, and then just have them like bisect you and separate you and give the liver to the other person if you wanted to. You couldn't take it for yourself in that case.
Probably almost wrapped up, aren't we?
Yep, I'm almost gonna checkmate strong atheist. And then I'm gonna head
Really?
off.
Let me know.
Nice.
And then who was it who challenged strong atheist? You guys should play.
Yes.
Strong atheist
I'm not
isn't.
gonna challenge him.
He's not bad. He's I'd say he's probably the 1500 range.
Oh, I'm just talking mad shit. I suck at chess.
Doesn't mean you can't challenge him, even if you suck. I would, but I just don't
Hey,
want to.
hey, TJump, I got a question before you go.
I've challenged Xerxes.
So, TJump, what do you think about people that say that atheism has killed more people than Christianity because of communism?
I think it's obviously false. I think that if we count the number of deaths in wars during however many like thousands of years religion was in charge, it will overtake the few decades atheism was in charge. Plus, it wasn't atheism that killed those; it was a political ideology, not atheism. So, like, it would be as unfair to say that atheism is attributable to killing all the Jews as it is to say that Christianity is attributable to killing everyone who Constantine killed. So just because a leader chose to adopt an ideology doesn't necessarily mean that the ideology is to blame. It's the leader is to blame. Unless it's like explicitly condoned in the holy text, in which case it is definitely the fault of the ideology. But atheist doesn't have any holy text, so it can't be at fault.
I'm gonna have to go for a bit.
All right.
After the party starting.
Cool.
Not odd.
Good to see you. Talk to you later.
On the PSF server, if you want to listen in, it's in my description about me.
I'm probably going to go take a nap pretty soon.
All right. Thanks for answering my questions, man.
Yep, no problem.
That means you concede then?
Yeah.
You've got like 3 moves. You got like 5 moves left.
I know. I'm joking. Could have done better if I didn't miss that one move, but okay.
Which move was that one?
Losing my queen.
Let's go back and see what that was. Oh yeah, when I pinned it with the knight, yeah. Well, I would have gotten your rook anyway, because either your rook or your queen. I had both of them pinned.
Oh. Still, the rook would have been a better loss.
Hey, Darth.
Hey.
Hey, bro. Hey, tell Tom about what we were talking about the mind outside of the universe. If you want, or if you can, so he can understand it.
Are you talking about the Neoplatonism thing?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, so Plotinus came up with this idea of a singular atemporal agent, right? That instantiates like all temporal states of affairs, right? And this mind has kind of like a hypostasis to his nature. There's a duality between what the mind internally wills, like the thoughts it has, the desires it has, and its external will, which is just like its relation to the external world. And basically, before I think it was Saint Maximus the Confessor, which was an Eastern Orthodox theologian, which borrowed from that view and just inserted all the Christian properties. I don't know if Tom has any sympathies to Neoplatonism. I'm presuming not, so.
Nope.
And Darth, Tom didn't know that you're a dualist.
Are you a property dualist or a substance dualist?
Substance dualist.
Oh wow, you're one of the crazy dualists.
Well, isn't all dualism crazy to you, Tom?
Well, no, I think property dualism is reasonable because it's just materialism plus like a strong emergence.
Do you think it makes sense to say that the mind is contingent upon the brain, but things like thoughts, which are contained within the mind, are immaterial?
No, because the thoughts would be the same as the mind.
Okay. And if presuming that if it is the case that the mind is physical, obviously, like the thoughts would also be physical, right? So it would render like some dualistic views to be false.
Say that again.
Like if it is the case,
Good game.
obviously that.
Yep.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I was just saying good game because we were playing chess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so like presumably if a mind is dependent upon a brain, but like the contents of the mind itself are like
Actually,
immaterial.
that could be possible. Like, for example, if the mind is like a shell and you can put things into the shell like, I don't know, slides or whatever, and the slides could be immaterial, even though the shell is there, the shell is the mind, and you have like literally no control over your thoughts. The thoughts could be presumably supernatural and be placed there by other things. That's possible.
Yeah, so like and dualism is a contingent thesis, right? So it's not saying that necessarily thoughts have to be immaterial or whatnot, but well, I mean, then that's fine, right? Like if you admit there's a logical possibility there, then but I guess your criteria of criticism will just be that there's no empirical evidence to support this view.
Or arguments that actually work. There is lots and lots of empirical evidence to show that the mind is a product of the brain and none to the contrary. So it's possible, but there's all of the evidence points to the opposite direction. Like saying it's possible there's a leprechaun in the box, but every time we open the box, we see a rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys.
Yeah, you would.
What? Go ahead.
Yeah, you would pretty much have the same criticism of idealism, right?
Yeah, like that's a kind of that's a kind of monism. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go take a nap. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining on the Discord debate me thingy.